Welcome to our regular slot, which is looking at recent research reports curated by Martin Couzins. And this month we're looking at one focusing on journalism and the media. So what is it, first of all, Martin, and why did you choose it?
So, Nigel, we've got this report called Journalism, Media and Technology, Trends and Predictions for 2018, produced by the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism and Oxford University.
Prestigious, both.
Yes, yeah. So for me, it's something close to my heart as a journalist, but I haven't done it for my own ends. I've actually done this because I think media trends are really, really important in terms of learning.
Yes, massively impactful, yes.
Because I do often wonder whether when we talk about learning, we're just talking about communications and vice versa. So it's all kind of in the same melted pot, if you like. So I thought it'd be quite interesting to see what those trends are. They're kind of more consumer trends, but they're the trends that all our employees and all of us are consuming and working with all the time. So this piece of research interviewed nearly 200 digital leaders across 30 countries. It's a big, kind of in-depth, qualitative piece of research, and it came up with some trends. And I think there are two or three things that I would highlight in these trends. Firstly, this is not a media trend, it's actually the trend or the problem that media companies have in innovating. And I think that's quite interesting because it probably affects all organisations in all sectors. Now, the media has been hit hard by technology for years, and its business model has been very disrupted, and it's still grappling with how to make money from news and content. But actually, these leaders identify internal factors as being the barrier to change.
It's fascinating. Yeah, you'd think it was all about external impact of technology, but it's about people.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's about people and people not willing to move, essentially.
It's resistance to change.
Yes.
Now, in terms of the actual media trends, I'm quite interested in the fact that audio seems to be getting bigger and bigger.
Podcasts.
Podcasts are really seen to be
suddenly taking off.
Yeah. And so for me, it's like, well, let's think about that. What could that mean for learning delivery? Audio, have we attended to audio well in the past, and do we do it now whilst our audience is currently consuming more and more of it? The technology to create and deliver podcasts and audio through podcasts is relatively cheap.
Very simple, very cheap, easy to do.
Yeah.
And we've kind of pushed it aside in favour of video. Video's the big thing, but people can't watch video while they're driving to work or sitting on a train. It's much easier to listen to audio, and it kind of occupies the time.
Yeah, it's nice because it's got, it brings in personality without having to have the pictures.
Yes.
So you don't have to have people on camera.
Yes.
And also, as you say, it's really easy to consume. So, maybe that's something to be thinking about.
Yes.
The other thing is there's experimentation with artificial intelligence. Now that might, people might relate to that in learning because there's a lot of talk about that. But there is a reality that actually journalists will be using assistants to help them do their work. That's
basically robots, AI, writing reports for journalists rather than journalists writing the reports. Yeah, that's what that's about, isn't it?
Yeah, there was in the report. There's this piece about someone gave a talk in China, and an AI then wrote up a report of that talk. And the guy who's a journalist who gave the talk said that was a pretty good report written by an AI. So, that's happening, and already sports reports are being produced. But it's quite interesting to see how that's developing.
So AI could generate learning material. You could share the input, it could search the web, it could précis and create resources.
Yeah. And I think also
equally well as writing a sports report or whatever else it does.
And tied with that is this growth of smart speakers, assistants like Amazon Echo, those kinds of things. How will the media companies are really looking at that kind of channel of delivery. So it's audio again, but actually it's voice activated. So that's quite an interesting space. And also that has a big implication for how we access knowledge and information. There's no reason why, if a media company is not putting that through, smart speakers, then, why can't we? Will we be doing that? I mean, these are just areas to consider. But I thought there were some other sort of predictions which were also interesting, and they were that there was a kind of not a lot of hope around fact checking and news literacy, whereas coming from the curation background, I would really hope that this is a year where we really help all people in our organisations understand, have a bit more media literacy and a bit more understanding of how they're sourcing information and how they know that that is good information to act on. I think that's really important.
It is. It's very interesting that the BBC are wheeling out Hugh Edwards to go around schools. So they're rolling out a massive programme to help young people become more media literate, and it has to happen in workplaces as well. There's an awful way to go in that.
And I think also the idea of a move to more messaging platforms. Messaging is huge, and also more mobile story formats. So things like Instagram stories, that you can really stitch together something powerful, quick and easy to access. And I would imagine that learning teams will start to look at that as well. Not only being created from employees, but created from within. Because we're going to get more and more of that, especially if media companies they're already doing it, but they're going to be doing more of it.
Yes. I think this is really good information and good advice, and I really hope people grab hold of this report. I think it's very well written, lots of good research and lots of insight, and some big figures commenting throughout the report. Well worth the read. So thank you for drawing that to our attention, Martin.
Thank you, Nigel.